4, 3,
2, 1.
Put everything down and crank your speakers up.
It's time for
The Realest Podcast.
Oh yeah!
We got us a new world champion!
And what is going on, guys? You're listening to the Realest Podcast, and welcome to May 8th, 2017's Monday Night Raw review. Yes, we are alive. That's a long story. Really long story why we haven't been doing shows. I might as well break it down. So, if you guys watched the what's been going on video, let's let the intro finish out. There we go. A lot has happened. My grandmother passed away. My mom going through the domestic violence stuff. So they arrested him on May 2nd or 3rd. His arraignment is actually next Monday. And it's still like a low time for myself and my family right now. We're still going through like difficult times and getting over everything. It also, last week, my internet and everything actually got shut off, where we couldn't do Monday or Tuesday's show. So I actually just went to my brother's. Or 2 weeks ago. So I went to my brother's games instead. Well needed, time away from everything. Break is always nice. And then I also went to my brother's playoff game. It's my fault why we haven't been doing them, but we are here. We're still here 100%. But Monday Night Raw overseas, obviously, thank you to anybody that I follow personally for not spoiling anything, even though there were spoilers there, but obviously we didn't click on it. But a lot has happened. First off, I have Andrew is here as always is here with me. I want to address this. Charlotte has had photos leaked once again, or we had more photos leaked. This one being Charlotte. I feel bad for her because it's awful that it happened to her. And the people will say, "Well, you shouldn't do it." You're absolutely right. People shouldn't take photos for that to happen. But then again, you're invading somebody's privacy by even doing that with their phone. Hopefully this guy will get caught, and hopefully he will, get in trouble for it.
Well, it seems like he's just. I know this isn't true, but it seems like he's just starting to target just wrestlers now. It's just like before it was celebrities, or at least the first person that did it beforehand was focusing on celebrities. Now this person seems to be focusing on, wrestlers, whether it's a copycat or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, like just recently I was reading an article that they think that the Mrs. Wife, Maurice, actually has some photos leaked and that they weren't as bad as the other ones, but, they still had some photos that they thought were possibly hers.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Maurice has photos of herself already out there from her, like, posing or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, she might have some stuff from, like, beaches in maybe France where that, like, it's like the article that I read was like, oh, like the pictures that she has as of her, like, in a bathing suit bottom and completely topless.
Well, we also forgot.
Like, there's topless beaches in France, so, like,
yeah.
Come on.
Alexa Bliss had some stuff come out about her also that were apparently, she said, weren't real. This picture could have gotten a lot of attention if it was real. But she said that it's 100% not real, and there's been nothing else said about it. Now, Charlotte, on the other hand, made a statement saying that, that it was invading her privacy. It sucks because, we all click on the link, we all do. That curiosity, we're males. When we see it, there's that little, thought like, ooh, I wonder what she'd look like, We all click the link, and we're all, in a way, we're hypocrites, but it's awful that it happened. Again, I hope he gets caught. Whoever did this gets caught and gets in trouble. I know that the guy that did it to, I want to say the girl from the Hunger Games got into a lot of trouble. So, it's no joke. Don't do that. But let's get to Monday Night Raw. Forget all this, right? Monday Night Raw was okay. Not a lot. What's up, Juan? Roman Reigns. Yeah, we could start off with Roman Reigns.
God, God.
God himself is. Every time he might as well change his song to "Angels Singing."
What was that like? That one show where they had like Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon versus Shawn Michaels and God. Like, and you see like when they had the God's music
It was
play,
at SummerSlam.
it's like, yeah, you hear oh, and you see like the light shine down. Like that's
Yeah.
what you need when Roman Reigns
God
comes
help
out.
him.
Because this man can survive anything.
Yeah, you know, for injuries that they had is, it's obviously an angle, and I hate that. Well, I'm Roman Reigns. I got the shit beat out of me twice. I'm really hurt, but you know what? Ooh ah! With his injuries, that would hurt what he's been doing. Like you would not do that if you were in that situation at all. With his injuries, you would not do that.
No.
Ridiculous, but gotta love
Yeah.
it. Gotta love it.
Well, and like the worst part of it is, and it's like it's really hard for the smart fan to follow. For the kids, of course, it makes sense, but like for Braun Strowman to get hurt the way he did, he missed a shoulder charge once on Roman Reigns, and all of a sudden he's got a torn rotator cuff.
I also want people to know that a torn rotator cuff is not a joke. That is actually really bad. Not a joke at all. Like,
No.
You're out for months with a torn rotator cuff. You would not be doing what Braun Strowman is doing. Not at all.
No. Much less taking like
He's not
all those
Superman,
bumps.
he's
today.
God, Juan. Come on. Juan says he's
He
Superman.
he was
he
Superman.
surpassed
Now he's
that.
God. There's no question.
Well, I
there.
mean, it is reported that Strowman will be out for 1 to 2 months.
I saw that, but like it makes it really hard to believe when Strowman took all those bumps to the arm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you can't say that he wasn't taking bumps to those arms. I mean, he was getting his arm pulled into the corner like so many times, and like you could say how fake certain moves are and how everything like that, but that's still contact on that arm, whether you look at it one way or another. So for him to be getting contact on that arm doesn't really tell me that he's hurt at all.
He also could not even have an injury to the arm. It could be something else because he really didn't take any crazy bumps. He took a Superman punch. I mean, it's in a few chairs. I say that like that's not that bad. I mean, I know it's bad, but still, it's nothing like going a 30-minute match. He only took a few shots. At least that's my opinion. Who cares about my opinion? But obviously, I'm assuming that since Kurt Angle wasn't there, I'm assuming he didn't have a visa, or not a visa, but a passport and stuff like that. Probably had to go through the hard stuff to get that.
That's a pain in the butt to get that too, because especially for traveling to a different country, you have to have your your birth certificate, all that good stuff, and it takes a while to actually get it. So.
We also, of course, storyline-wise, Kurt Angle assigned Dean Ambrose as the Raw general manager, and then Stephanie McMahon made Miz, so they both were general managers tonight, which, I mean, here's something interesting, and, I've been noticing this a lot on other podcasts, and, in the comment section, I've been going in with my opinion. Roman versus Braun Extreme Rules ambulance match, I think that'd be dumb. I've had my opinions. I've even had one guy actually invite me on the show to say stuff. But a lot of people are upset with Brock being the champion. I still think it's a good thing for the belt. It's giving the Intercontinental Championship importance. I've said it before. I don't think that a guy like Finn Balor should be anywhere near Brock Lesnar because we know what the end result will be. And another thing is. It gives the Intercontinental Championship a lot of exposure. I think I've just said that, though. There's a lot of things to it. What do you think about Brock? Brock's not going to show up until, I want to say, in the Great Balls of Fury, or whatever it's called, pay-per-view next month.
I'm up and down on it. Like, I'm glad Brock is champion. Like, it's nice to see Brock is champion. He sort of got his like intensity back after the whole Goldberg feud. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of part-timers having the title if they're not defending it. Like, I was okay with The Rock when he won the championship and he was competing, for the month or so that he had the title before he dropped it to Cena. So, like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with a part-timer winning a championship. Like Randy Orton, for instance. I'm okay with that because he's defending the title every single week. With Brock Lesnar, though, like, he's not defending the title for like 2 or 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that gets to me as a fan because I want to see my champion defend the title. And not only that, but I always hate when they strip somebody of the title because of the 30-day policy. But then when Brock Lesnar wins a championship and decides not to defend it, or they can't use him because of his contract dates, they completely ignore that rule. I don't think that should be something that they do if they're going to ignore it from time to time. But, that's nothing new because that's what WWE has done in the past is set rules and then, purposely break them.
Yeah, I do know that Brock signed another, with his contract that he signed not long ago, he's supposed to be doing more dates. If that is being doing live events or something, but I do know that he is supposed to be doing more dates. And what sucks about this is that we know what the long run will be giving us, as in we know that we're going to be getting Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and that's what sucks is because we know what's going to happen in the long run. But we also saw Finn Balor versus The Miz. I was late being able to watch it, so I got to see the very end of it. I thought at first it was for the number one contendership, and then obviously I was wrong and learned that it wasn't. And of course, The Miz being a heel, trying to cheat his way of victory, and then Dean coming out saying no. So actually, both people took a loss. Miz took a loss, and Dean Ambrose took a loss. And I know you're upset about Dean. For me, I think a disqualification should have happened, but it also doesn't hurt Dean as much that there was interference. I think what hurts Dean is he kicked out after being hit with the title. I also think it hurts that, in that situation, wouldn't you hit the finisher to give that final, nail in the coffin just to be sure? So even though he still lost, I think that's what hurt him was the fact that he was kicked out.
He kicked out of the getting hit in the head title, but he didn't kick out of the Sister Abigail.
Yeah, right. And I mean, how many times?
Like, I just don't like how he got pinned, though.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but at least Miz lost.
The dude is supposed to be defending the championship next week.
Well, to be fair,
and he just took a loss.
You're absolutely right.
To Bray Wyatt,
but he's also a mid-carder, and two, Bray Wyatt is the so-called superhuman. So, and that's where they're promoting him to be. So.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but still, I mean, that's your champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you just made him look weak.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
I mean, it would have been something. Hey, look, this would have been a completely different thing for me if Miz had hit him with the title and he got rolled up and pinned.
I think he looks weak. He looks weak, but I don't think...
Now he looks weak because he kicked out of it, and then he just got Sister Abigail, and can't kick out of that, though.
I think he looks weak, but at certain points. I don't think that he makes it's off, like, really, really, really bad. I think at certain points he looks weak. I don't think it's, like, to a point where it's like, wow. Like, kind of like what we saw with the Tag Team Championships before. We saw, who get messed up.
But, it's to the point, though, where the fans are starting to turn on Dean Ambrose. And, like, you see that in, like, the Twitter posts and everything. Like, they post online, too. Like, 2 out of the 3 posts online, from what they showed on the little scroll bar, has, I hope Miz beats Dean Ambrose for that championship. It's like he's a heel.
Right.
But, I mean, everybody knows that Miz has been gaining a lot of fans, within this past year. But still, it's pretty bad when the fans are chanting for the heel. And, it's been that case for a lot of the guys, like Strowman. Mm-hmm. Like tonight with Kalisto, Strowman's gonna kill you, Yeah. I mean, it's a shame, too, because I'm like, it's good that they're getting cheered, don't get me wrong, like in terms of like the people are behind them. But, they're not getting the reactions that they want to get out of these wrestlers.
Right.
And I think that's the fault.
I also, moving on from that, though, we have a women's match, a one-on-one match. Alexa Bliss with Nia Jax in her corner versus Mickie James with Bayley in her corner. Alexa Bliss obviously gets the win, it gets the victory. Nice, I wouldn't say well-needed victory, but gets a nice win. Nia Jax, the friendship between Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss seems to be forming, which, if I'm not mistaken, these two are actually best friends in real life. I think company-wise they're best friends. I think these two travel together and stuff like that. So it makes sense to put those two together. All in all, a decent match. It's it's there. Needless to say, just to put. I mean, even though Alexa Bliss is over, but to give her a win, which again, I don't think she really needed all that much. I think Bayley's in need of it more, and I mean Bayley looked weak today. In what she was able to do, she's really playing the John Cena card. Like, they really are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very clear at this point.
She's a big match Cena, Super Cena. So, but again, moving on from that, you have Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman versus Kalisto that gets interrupted, or Strowman says he's not going to wrestle Kalisto, then gets interrupted from Braun Strowman, who hit 3 Superman punches, and then basically just destroyed Braun Strowman, basically destroyed him as if he was nothing. And again, we're going to be seeing this feud, which again, I'm tired of. So from here on, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're talking about this guy who's a monster among men. He just came back after this grueling rotator cuff, injury, and here comes Roman Reigns. Doesn't seem to be ailing his wounds at all. And this was a guy who apparently, according to the story, got his ass kicked so bad that he was bleeding internally, throwing up blood.
He was spitting blood, yeah.
Spitting up blood, can barely move, can barely get up, needs to be taken to the hospital. But Roman Reigns is back on his feet, and he's completely dominating Braun Strowman, showing no signs of an injury. And Braun Strowman, on the other hand, is crying like a little punk. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And for me, as a fan of Braun Strowman, that takes away from the allure of Braun Strowman. He's no longer this big monster anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's human.
Yeah.
As opposed to Roman Reigns, who remains to be God or Superman,
Every religious, viewer hates us 100%. Every religious viewer hates us. He's not God.
Well, I mean, like, how else do you really describe somebody like that? I mean, he's untouched by anything. Yeah, and that's a shame too, because Roman Reigns is not typically who you would pick for like that big, indestructible guy. The guys like Braun Strowman, who actually look the part, are the guys that you see that are normally untouchable. Guys like Great Khali, Big Show. Those are those big guys you expect to really take a lot of punishment. Roman Reigns, he's, 6'2", 6'3". Like,
Yeah.
he's tall and all, but that's all he's got going for him. He's not.
He's Samoan.
I mean, and he's Samoan. It's a Samoan bloodline.
That's
I don't know.
That's the big
They
one.
just, I just don't like that. I mean, it's cool that they're trying to play up the angle. I like the angle between the two of them. I like them together, but come on, for the smart fan, please do something. Like, I was cool with Roman Reigns being out for like a month, and Braun Strowman maybe being away for like 2-3 weeks. Like, that would have been acceptable. Okay, so they're writing them both out. Nope, they're both back the very next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and after that we also have the tag team turmoil. Cesaro and Sheamus, once again, your number one contenders, which was easily seen, beating out Rhino and Heath Slater, the Club, R-Truth, and the Golden Truth, and also Enzo and Cass. I mean, there's really not a lot to say about it other than Cesaro and Sheamus look good, and then obviously the Hardys confronted them, and then Being Hills got out of the ring. Um, Again, there really isn't a lot to say about it.
Well, I mean, like, how do you feel about that? I mean, do you think it was a little excessive having them take out every single tag team in the roster? Or do you think that was just exactly what they needed?
Well, I mean, you can't just say, well, they're the number one contenders again, and you can't just put them up in a number one contenders match, and just say, well, this is how that's going to happen. So I think it's the right thing to do, but
Well, let me ask you this: how do you feel about the whole Golden Truth scenario?
I personally don't really understand it. Did they
Because,
turn on
like,
each other?
why? No, like, I thought they were. I mean, like, that was my thing. I was like, Cesaro and Sheamus are going to walk away with it. I knew that was going to happen. I did not expect them to go through the entire locker room to get to do it, and I expected, if Golden Truth did happen to win, they would get their butts kicked so bad that they would have to bail out of the championship match, and Cesaro and Sheamus would just get it by default.
I don't know. I think if the Golden Truth were to be in a lot more, I think if they were to be more on TV and things were to happen for them, I think the crowd could get behind them because Goldust is an outstanding wrestler. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Is Dustin Rhodes is really a really good wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It looked like they were getting a push at first.
yeah, but
Out of
then
the
again,
blue.
it's obvious that they were going to go in the direction of Sheamus versus Cesaro because it continues the rivalry between those two, between both teams, and and everything and all that. I could easily see a ladders match being put into place at Extreme Rules between these two teams because I could easily see Cesaro and Sheamus saying, "We're going to beat you at your own game. We're going to beat you in a ladders match," something along those lines. So, who knows really? I mean, again, I think it's good because they need to do that type of stuff. You can't just beat down the champion and say, okay, we're number one contenders. Like, you need a number one contenders match. It's just the only way to go. Realistically, in my opinion, that's like the only smart way to go.
Right. Well, and that's the interesting thing you say that. Like, I'm cool with that, the idea of that. But, I've been watching wrestling for a very long time, and the tag team turmoil matches has been something that's relatively new to the company in terms of, like, within the past, like, 5-6 years they've been doing it. Mm-hmm. I have never, ever, ever seen, until tonight, the starting people come out and win the entire thing.
Right.
That has never been the case. But Cesaro and Sheamus today went through the entire tag team turmoil gauntlet, so to speak.
Right.
So, it's very interesting to see that they picked Cesaro and Sheamus to do that, especially given that they did their nice little heel turn. Mm-hmm. But, still, like, of all the tag teams they had, Cesaro and Sheamus actually do it, where other teams have failed to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it also shows how strong Cesaro and Sheamus. I think that's the point of that, is to show how strong that team is, because they did do really well in that match. Kudos to them. They looked really good. But moving on from that, TJP, no longer TJ Perkins. He's now officially TJP. Defeats Gentleman Jack Gallagher. I'm assuming we're going to be seeing like either a triple threat match or something, because I really don't think that he's going to be like on side with Neville. The only reason he's doing what he is doing is because of he's won an opportunity at the championship. I still did he still have the same theme song?
Yeah,
he's
man.
Got to get rid of it. He's got to get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, unless he's turning face again anytime soon. I mean,
it's too kid friendly.
Well, I mean, that was the whole point for him to be kid friendly, and then they're like, all right, well, we're gonna try something different, and then they just didn't get him behind it yet, like what they did with Neville. So it's like, for me, it's kind of like, there was nothing wrong. Let me be straight. There's nothing wrong with TJ Perkins. There was nothing wrong with his gimmick from the beginning of it. The problem is that they, I don't know if they lost faith in him or what, but they, had him have an extremely short title reign, and then they just sort of put him off into like a sideshow attraction, and that's completely different from what we're seeing with Tyler Bate, and the United Kingdom Championship. Because Tyler Bate's been champion since what? January was the tournament.
Yeah, around there.
So, they gave him the title longer than they did the Cruiserweight champion. So it's...
Well, then again,
I don't know.
The Cruiserweights are on TV every week. They don't really do a lot with the UK Championship. I know that they filmed something. I don't know what exactly they filmed, but I know that they did some TV tapings for the number one contendership, which is going to be at NXT Chicago, which is actually already out. I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody that is watching, but there is a United Kingdom Championship match at NXT TakeOver, so that should be interesting. I thought that they were going to do that at the WrestleMania one, but I don't know what happened or if anything,
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's gonna be a good match from what I've seen. Like who's gonna be in there?
Oh yeah, and I honestly and truthfully see the title changing hands. I really do.
Oh, it better.
But yeah, but moving on, Sasha Banks defeats Alicia Fox. Again, just
no surprise there.
No surprise. Sasha, I wouldn't say needs the win, but gets the win just to keep her momentum going. And then obviously the main event being Bray Wyatt defeats the Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose. And by outside interference of Miz hitting Dean, and we really already talked about it. Again, I do think it hurts that he kicked out and everything. But I'm ready for change for the Intercontinental Championship. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. I know a lot is about to happen. Backlash being only a few weeks away. NXT TakeOver being a few weeks away. Ember Moon not going to be in the women's title picture, which sucks.
It's a shame.
Obviously, Asuka will retain. Other than that, we get a ladder match for the tag team championships, and then
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, Hideo Itami will face Bobby Roode. Obviously, these are all spoilers. I am sorry. But it should be good. I'm excited. Chicago's going to be a hot crowd. White hot crowd.
We're going to get a lot of CM Punk chants. Let's just prepare ourselves for it.
Yeah. But is there anything else you really want to touch on before we go?
I think we should be excited for SmackDown tomorrow night. I really do.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is anything crazy happening tomorrow?
Probably more Jinder Mahal and the Bollywood Boys attacking Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
that has been extremely well done on their behalf.
I'm honestly and truthfully wanting Jinder to win. Not because I'm a fan of Jinder, but because I want him to win because of the amount of hate that it'll be. Or that'll happen. So much hate will go down if he wins.
Well, I mean, the worst part about it is it seems like it's going in that direction. And I hate when it seems so obvious like that, because even if you looked at it tonight, they were kind of promoting Backlash, and you see a picture of Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal on the side, and the Bollywood Boys right behind him, as in it's hinting that he's kind of taking on the three of them, which you pretty much already knew going into it, but it's kind of like they're trying to make it very known that it's going to be like 1 against 3. And that, Randy Orton really doesn't have a shot, which I don't like that,
Mm-hmm.
I like to be surprised. Like, hey, the Bollywood Boys, oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I am excited for it. And again, I'm really wanting to see what they do and what they pursue when it comes to this match. So I do think with that being said, I think that is going to do it for us. Again, we will be live tomorrow. We actually will be live tomorrow. Do not worry. Again, I apologize for everything that's happened. Just a lot's been going on. But, again, with that being said, I think that, again, that's going to be doing it for us. And so until later, tomorrow, peace out, guys.